Welcome to this episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast. I'm going to be discussing Uranus in the sign of Gemini, trining Pluto and Aquarius. This is exact in July of 2026. I'll get to a lot of dates and a lot of degrees and a lot of other elements to tie into this video that I want to discuss. I'm coming into this podcast with a lot of stress and anxiety. And I have a lot of fear doing this. Yesterday, when I came home from work, just like the last Tuesday, I found that one of my accounts, not my main one or not my original one, was removed. Now, I had this happen before, and I thought that it was already, we were already taken care of, because when my main channel was removed, and then that was taken care of, I thought that the other accounts were also fine. But something happened with the, YouTube, and it blocked off my other account. One account, and I can't have access to it, so I submitted an appeal, this and that. Still waiting for a response back from that. I've just been having some issues. This Mercury retrograde is really causing some problems, because, let me tell you, and I don't say this lightly, some of my respect for YouTube has gone down the drain. It has. Some of my trust with YouTube has been tested and a little bit severed. I trust them to allow me to create the content that I want. I trust them to be reliable. I trust that YouTube is a safe place where I can express myself and produce whatever content that I want. But I don't feel right now that it is as safe of a place to be. I feel in my heart that YouTube has done wrong to me. Now, what it's trying to do is it's really having the AI becoming incredibly aggressive. Pluto and Aquarius, which I'm going to be discussing, is about AI. The AI becoming incredibly aggressive, getting rid of any channels that have any scam or deceptive practices or spams, those kind of things like that, of which I don't do because I don't monetize, I don't have a membership, I don't do any of those things. And they're really hurting a lot of channels, including mine, including my accounts that I have with whatever I have going on, because on the other accounts that I have, say for my original channel, the other two are just private videos. Maybe there's a couple videos, on there, on those other two, but it's not like there's very many videos. And this is really not compassionate. I don't know if the company of YouTube is at a very negative situation right now. I don't know if they are feeling really insecure themselves with having to compete with the AI and this and that. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what kind of decisions that they discuss in their meeting rooms in California, assuming that this is where YouTube is, and what kinds of decisions that they make for the company, for the sake of the company. I don't know that. I have no idea. And specifically about the accounts and channels, I didn't see anything about the dashboard in YouTube Studio about it. And so it is affecting my channels. It is affecting what I do, possibly this channel, because it's looking for anything that is, suspicious of any kind of spam or scam. That channel was removed, but then this one may be next. And that's my fear and my anxiety, is that this channel will be next. And if you're watching this, please give me some support in the comments about this, because I really, really would appreciate your comments and your kind words. I am just in this really, really unsettled, uneasy state right now about this. And it's really, really affecting me very, very much psychologically because of all the trauma that I've been through when it comes to deleting videos, deleting YouTube channels, being depressed and guilty for 3 years, going in the hospital for 3 weeks, and it's like, this is the thanks I get for that? What's that all about? This is the danger of AI. This is the danger of what we are getting ourselves into, is having AI rule the roost, where what's going to happen? AI is going to take over humans. AI is going to take over a lot of things like that. A physical human being needs to be there to try to look at whatever the AI catches onto on that channel. It must be looking at that. There's just a lot of uncertainty right now in my mind. A lot of uncertainty. And so the AI should catch something, and then the human being should verify it, so that the AI doesn't make mistakes and just take down channels for just innocent creators for doing nothing. I don't scam. I'm not out to get people. I have no intention of that. I never have, and I never will. That's for darn sure. It's just getting really, really, very, very bad. And some of my trust and faith in YouTube has sort of gone down the drain a little bit. And I'm infuriated at YouTube. I think that they've kind of crossed a line. And I'm just speechless. I mean, why on earth is this happening to me? I'm just in disbelief why this is happening to me, and probably a lot of other channels. I'm just in disbelief of it. And I want you to know that when worse comes to worse, I am on Spotify, and I put these episodes on Spotify, and I also put the ones that are below 59 minutes on my TikTok. You're thinking, why do you put those episodes on TikTok? Because they're so long. Well, I want to, and who knows, one person may see that. I've gotten a couple likes and a comment from one that is longer. So I am on Spotify. I will continue to post on Spotify. I feel safer on Spotify because there's advisors there that can help out with getting episodes published and issues fixed. I just feel like Spotify is smaller. It's not too big for its britches. It's not, what YouTube is a monopoly, and it's taking over. It's dominating. Spotify is smaller, and I feel like I can trust Spotify. I don't want to give up on this channel. I don't want to give up on just stopping this channel. But I need to know that I can feel safe on this platform of YouTube, on YouTube specifically. So I'm going to try to compartmentalize this and talk through the information that I want to get through in this video and the following ones. I just hope I'm not going to come home from work next week and find this channel removed. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know at this point. It's really, yeah. So that's all I can say about that. So I just thought that I'd begin there. I'm not going to be putting links to my videos from now on. I feel like my own autonomy and my own sovereignty when it comes to how I run my channel is being stamped on and squashed right now because of the darn AI that's taking over right now. And it is absolutely pathetic with a capital P. And it's irresponsible, it's absolutely wrong, and it's really, not good. Not a good situation. So, I really, really appreciate you to subscribe to my channel. If you see my videos, I would love your support. I would love to hear your comments. I just, it's tough. And so, I need all the help that I can get right now. Trying to message them on X and trying to get things figured out with this, to get this sorted out, and it's really, really tough. Very, very tough. So, any sympathy, any kind words, I would love to hear in the comments section below. And anything regarding this video at all, whatever you wish to comment, keep your comments coming because I read every single one. I respond to every single one. And I don't want to lose connection with all of you viewing these videos. I don't want to lose my channel. I don't want to lose the connection, the relationship that I have with the people who watch and follow my videos. So I want to retain that. I want to keep that. So anyway, enough. That's my spiel about that. I just thought that I'd begin with that because I'd be remiss if I didn't cover it. Okay, so let's discuss Uranus trine Pluto now. So with that out of the way, let's discuss this. So Uranus is trine Pluto at 4 degrees because all of the aspects, all of the outer planets are aspecting each other. Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, all at 4 degrees in the month of July. So Uranus and Pluto are forming a trine, which is a harmonious, flowing aspect of harmony and ease in the air signs of Gemini and Aquarius. So this is happening 2026 to 2028. This is when this is happening. Or between these 3 dates. So it's going to be 5 exact trines between these 2 outer planets, these 2 heavyweights in the sky. They're heavyweight planets. They're not baby planets. They're powerful planets between these 3 years. So, this won't happen until 2063, something like that. Won't come again until then, so this is very, very rare. This time is really, really powerful and transformative. Uranus and Pluto, power and transformation, and death and rebirth, and everything dying away to become new again. That's what Pluto is. It's regenerative. It takes the old structures, the old systems, and makes them new again. And in Aquarius, it's very, very technological. It's very incredibly technological. It takes the old structures that are the old social structures, because that's what Aquarius kind of rules, that are not working for us, and it remodels them and reinvigorates them and it's a redo, it's a reevaluation, it's a review, and a recalibration, and a transformation of all those things. So this is speaking powerful, transformative. The key word for this transit that I want you to remember is change. Change is the key word. I hope that by the time this transit is exact, I'm still on YouTube and I'm still doing this. That's my hope. I don't know. The sun's going to run out of the hourglass sometime, and I feel like my time is running out. That's just the feeling of insecurity that I get with this, and so, hopefully I am here by that time, doing videos as I normally do. Hopefully I don't go away. Yeah, so, anyway, that being said, this can depend upon Pluto's orbit. This can really, really depend a lot upon that. A lot upon the orbit of Pluto, because Pluto's orbit is between 12 to like 31 years of being in a sign, depending upon where that sign is. It's kind of inconsistent. But, okay, so let's discuss these two planets now. Let's discuss what they're all about. So Uranus represents the reinvention of the wheel. It represents change. Radical change. It's like you wake up in the morning and you want new change. You want the new change. You want the fresh starts. You want to radically shift up what you're doing and change up all that you have done. That's what you want to do. Is you want to do things differently. It's like you wake up and you're like, I had this sudden realization to change up something in my life, and you're like, I want to do it now. It's sudden, it's unexpected. Changes come out of the blue. And with this change, when you allow yourself, with Uranus, when you allow yourself to go with the change and embrace and accept the change, then you will feel more free. You'll feel more liberated. You will feel more alive. Uranus wants you to feel alive. So it deals with freedom. It deals with liberation. Now, with Uranus, we can also have new downloads, new flashes of insight, new realizations, and it's the planet of awakening. So we can awaken into new forms, into new ways of being with Uranus energy. Now, Pluto represents death, rebirth, transformation, all these kind of things like that. You think about the process of a butterfly and how the butterfly goes through the cocoon, how it starts out in one state, which is the caterpillar. Caterpillar sort of gets fat and it eats itself to death, and so then it gets in the chrysalis, and then it does all this, and so things are shifting, and there's a whole messy process of how that goes, but then it turns into a butterfly, and then it's free again. So with that, you're dying the old. You're rebirthing like a phoenix, and you're transforming. You're radically changing it up, and you have shadow content. You have a lot of, there's a lot of shadow content here. There's a lot of, yeah. So Pluto represents the shadow content. It represents the shadow, represents what's under the surface of what you're not seeing. It's think of the water, like it's what lies below the surface. That's what you want to think about. It's Pluto is below the surface. Represents the, what you cannot see easily. It is what is in shadow, what is in the dark, that needs to be brought up into light, brought up into conscious awareness in order to get looked at once again, in order to get reviewed and looked at in that kind of way, to be brought up to the light of consciousness so that it can get released and transformed. So it deals with anything in the shadow, anything dark, anything scary. And also deals with power. Can also deal with having power. Pluto is the planet of power. Plutonium. Think of the time when Pluto was discovered. That was when the time the rise of Mussolini and Stalin and Hitler and all those kind of powerful figures in history. So Pluto is, it's about powerful. Pluto is how you harness and how you hold your power. Wherever Pluto is in your chart shows like where you have the most power, where you exude out the most power. That kind of thing like that. So with this energy, with Uranus trine Pluto, the key here is to actually use the energy. The key is to use the energy. And, make it happen for you. The key is to be proactive about it. Take action on what the energy is. Take action on what you need to take action on with what is going on with the two planets involved. So it deals with, actually taking, as I've said before. So Uranus and Pluto want us to take action. They are, about radically changing. Like if you're going along on a certain path and you're just stubbornly going on in that path and you're refusing to change, guess what? Pluto and Uranus are going to come in and say, hey, you need to change. But fortunately, this is not a square. This is a trine, so there's an ease, there's a natural flow, and, call toward change that's more easily to change and transform and do all this. Now, trines at worst can not be the most activating of aspects they can be, where they're just so flowing and so, so easy that we're not actually taking action, that we're not putting the work in to make it a reality for us, that we don't take action on this energy. We're just sitting on it. We're just armchair astronauts. We're not actually taking action and making things happen. And not actually, walking our talk where the rubber hits the road, and we actually are productive about it. So, Uranus and Pluto these two planets cause a lot of disruption, and they are responsible for burning away anything in your life that no longer serves you. I mean, anything that's not working for you, Uranus and Pluto. Uranus is radical change and shifting that, and letting that go. And Pluto is transformation. And when it comes to transformation, you're never the same person when you started the transformation to when you end it. So it's about you changing and you evolving on a spiritual, psychological, emotional level to become the highest version that you are. So this is very, very sudden and profound changes, but these changes don't disempower you. They don't cause havoc, but at best, while it can be difficult and messy and uncomfortable, and they do ask you to give up a lot of things in your life, they can empower you. This change, and I wonder if this is speaking to me with my channels getting deleted or taken down. If this is actually the change and the disruption that's going on, and I'm being empowered to move on a new path, that I can put my trust and my eggs in the basket of something that really, really has more of my best interests at heart. And I don't feel like YouTube necessarily has that as much as some other platforms out there. So, okay, so, sudden and profound changes which ultimately lift you up, they ultimately give you the control, they give you the power to really, really stand up and be sovereign, making your own decisions, having control over your life. At best, you can take the change and the disruption, the negativity, and actually take back your power and gain back a new sense of power. You can become more powerful. And this is happening in the air signs. So, Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius. So there's a radical shift and change in technology and communication. I imagine that around this time and around these 3 years, it's going to be a lot of new innovations coming out with technology, communication, writing, technological devices, all these kind of things are going to be popular. I'm just waiting in the wings for what kind of technological innovations are going to come out with these trines, because this hasn't happened since, in Gemini and Aquarius, since late 18th century, I would imagine. So I think that that's the last time that this happened in these two signs. It is really, really rare. This is incredibly rare for Uranus and Pluto to be trining in these two signs. That's why this aspect is so incredibly, spectacularly fascinating. And this is probably the one that I've been most looking forward to talk to you about. So, I intend to continue to do that, especially in the 12 sign readings that are coming tomorrow. Okay, so technology and communication, changes in these two things going on. So looking at what are you stubbornly holding on to? What are you holding on to that's keeping you from evolving, from growing? That's like your comfy slippers or your comfy robe. You're stuck in this comfort zone and it's not fun anymore. But you feel like it's familiar. Like it's kind of like that robe is really, really tattered and there's holes in it and all those kind of things like that. But it's comfortable, it's familiar. But this asks you to throw that robe away and do whatever to it and move into something new. It's kind of like getting a new pair of glasses. Like getting a new pair of glasses. Like even the old pair is really, really cracked and all that. The new pair is fresh and clean and brand new, but you're just not used to it. It's unfamiliar. It's new territory, but your soul is ready to move into. Your soul is ready to wear that pair of new glasses. Your soul is ready to move into that new territory again. Move into brand new arenas. Move into brand new places. So, looking at, what do you need to release at this time? What new realizations are you having that require you to change? Like allowing yourself and giving yourself grace that I'm going to have these new realizations. I'm going to think different ways about things at times. I'm going to feel certain ways about things at different times. I'm going to have these new awakenings and these new thoughts coming in. And when you get the awareness, when you get the new thought, when you get the awakening, you can't really go on the same path. You can't continue walking on the same path that you used to. You just have to continue walking on the path, continue marching forth on that path, going forth on a new path, on a new, brand new path that you carve out for yourself. It's radically different from what you ever had before. So this transit is about getting out of your comfort zone. Uranus and Pluto wants to shake you right out of your comfort zone, shake you out of what's familiar, what's stuck, what you're already comfortable with, get you out of it to something new. So now I want you to put your time traveling cap on, because we're going to time travel back to between the years of 2012 to 2015, because what was going on between these years was Uranus square Pluto. Uranus in Aries, Pluto in Capricorn. So Uranus in Aries was about, and this is what was when I was growing up. This is what it was when I was in elementary school at this time. So Uranus in Aries asked us, Uranus in Aries is about taking the initiative, being really, really, actually starting new things, actually being an individual, really, really letting your individuality shine. Being a pioneer, starting new things. Uranus wants to radically shake things up for humanity and be the odd one out. Like Uranus wants to serve humanity by, I'm the only one that's going to do this, and nobody else is doing this, so I might as well take action on it and do it. That's what Aquarius does. So Aquarius wants to actually be the initiator, and Aries wants to be the initiator. Like nobody's ever done this before. That's what Aquarius and Aries have in common. There's a lot of things that they have in common. They both want freedom. They're very, very rebellious. They're very individualistic signs. And so this asked us to be bold and daring, to create the reality that we want for our lives, and to march to the beat of our own drums. Uranus in Aries says, break free of any limiting structures that are holding you back from your authenticity. Be bold. Do your own thing. Uranus in Aries wanted us to focus on developing our own identities. Then Pluto in Capricorn deals with a lot of restriction, because Capricorn is a Saturn-ruled sign, so it brings restriction wherever it goes. It brings restriction. Capricorn is a sign that like wherever Saturn goes, it restricts what it touches. So you may feel restricted by doing that, by being your individual self, being bold, daring, and initiative. Maybe there's some restrictions on that. Maybe powerful governments and institutions are taking control over these things, and they're keeping you from doing that. That's what this transit is about. And there's secrets. These institutions they had secrets that were probably dug up. Pluto and Capricorn. Like Pluto and Capricorn digs up all the secrets of the rich and powerful, digs up all of these secrets of people in power and authority figures and this and that. So squares are when the two planets are going at the same thing but in different ways. So Uranus and Aries wanted to change in the way of being an individual, and Capricorn and Pluto and Capricorn wants to change in the way of building long-term structures. Capricorn is more patient for long-term and getting things done and committing to things and delayed gratification, sticking things out. Aries just wants it now. It's impulsive energy. You have to remember that Aries is a child energy. It's not very patient. And so Capricorn is like, suffer now, enjoy the benefits of your fruit labor later. Don't, thinking long term is what Capricorn is about. And, having all those, things that you're doing, that may feel very, very bad for you right now. You may not be enjoying your life right now, but it's all for the long-term gain. Later on, you will feel better. That's Capricorn thinks in the long term. Now, during this time, there could have been institutions that went out of business, because Capricorn is big governments, and Pluto is like destroying these things. So maybe digital platforms. This was the time when YouTube was becoming more popular, so these digital platforms were becoming monopolies. Like YouTube, as I've said at the beginning of this video, is a monopoly. I maybe said that, I don't remember if I did or not. And the money is all about how much attention you give on these platforms, because these social media platforms, I'm telling you, they're really, really controlling us. Because when we devote our time and attention and energy to these platforms, they get paid based off of our energy and attention. Like, think about that. Like, they're stealing our energy and attention. Sometimes I was talking to somebody yesterday about this. And sometimes you, get on your phone and you're like, I don't want to get on my phone right now. But it's so powerful that it compels you to do that. So, these platforms, with all the, the money, that they're making based off of how long you spend on YouTube or, TikTok or whatever. And it's I think, if I'm getting it right, a multi-billion-dollar industry. I mean, they're up there with the the top dogs in business. I mean, and I'm just feeling this distance from companies like YouTube. I'm just feeling like I can't reject them easily. I can't rely on them. They're not very trustworthy. They're kind of stabbing me in the back right now and sabotaging me right now. And that's why I am so angry at them right now. Angry at the company and what decision that they made to get that AI to cause a lot of havoc and damage to channels, one by one, scanning to see if the channels are good. And if they are, then they stay. If they don't, then they go. So without any prior warning, without anything going on, and for no reason. It is really, really devastating. Very, very devastating. So, enough about that. I'm sort of peppering that in as I go through this. But, I want to build up Spotify. I want to build up that platform, and I want to get some following over there. And it is, I think, a safer, I think, more ethical platform of what they're doing. And so, if I should get my channel removed, then I will be continuing to post on Spotify. These episodes will be posted on Spotify just like normal. And I still want to continue to use my voice and do all this, even though it's hard. Even though it's hard. So, we are reforming structures. We are reforming, all of these structures, with whatever we are doing, right now. So these structures, because Uranus and Pluto want to change the structures, do all of that, change that up. So we're easily able to work with change instead of having conflict against the change. So, with the trines, it's easy. There's an ease and a flow here. So we work with the change and we don't have difficulty, whether we don't have any divide with it. So now I'm going to go into some more information here. July 2025 is when, through July 2025 to May 2029 is the orb of influence, the window for when this aspect is, in effect. So, but 2028 to 2026 to 2028 is when it's exact. So Uranus in Gemini looks at, Uranus is in Gemini. I have videos on this. You can check them out. Earlier episodes of this podcast that I did back on April 13th and 14th when I was at Rochester in Mayo. I did this episode not in my regular location, which they're available to check out because there's a lot of good information. Basically, Uranus in Gemini deals with technological developments. Deals with technology getting reinvented. And revolutionizing how we think and communicate. That's Uranus in Gemini. And it also looks at how we view the world differently from an intellectual perspective. This was from, so it entered July 7th, 2025. It stayed until November. Let me just look here in my ephemeris to see when Uranus entered. Let's see here. Okay, so it says, July 8th is when it entered. Excuse me, it's not July 7th, it's July 8th, 2025, up until, let me see here. Uranus is not giving me anything for this. Yeah. I think that is retrograde. Thing here. Sorry about this little pause in the thing going on here. It's not showing me. Anyway, it's oh. Yeah. Okay, I was looking at the wrong thing here. So let me just go back. So Uranus, it's a little thing, yes. July 8th. I was looking at Neptune. Mercury retrograde. Yeah. The 9th. It went back into Taurus on November 9th. So July 8th through November 9th. Those are the exact dates. I'm giving you the exact dates. I'm not messing around when I give you those dates. July 8th through November 9th, 2025, and then April 25th through August of 2034, 2032, and then May 22nd of 2023 is when it finally moves. I think December 2032 it moves back into Gemini, and then May 2033 is when it leaves Gemini and enters Cancer on the 22nd of May. So those are the dates for Uranus and Gemini. Now, this Uranus and Gemini transit deals a lot with communicating. We are communicating, we are sharing information, collaborating, doing all that kind of thing. Networking, getting together with like-minded people, and dispersing resources, distributing things, sharing resources. Gemini just exchanges everything. Gemini just wants to spread things out over long distances. This is what Uranus and Gemini is doing. Now, Pluto in Aquarius is creating new structures for the systems that bridge the powerful institutions. So it is looking at the systems for these institutions, and especially social structures, and reinventing the wheel with that. So talk about some other little things here. Mercury square Saturn is one aspect going on, July 2026, and this is where Mercury is retrograde and Saturn is back to station retrograde on the 26th of July. Okay, so Mercury is retrograde, so we're in the process of reflection and review. We're not the most clear when we are in review. We're in process. We're in a sort of psychological process, emotional metacognition. Right now, we are nearing the middle of this emotional metacognition, deep emotional metacognition that I was speaking about on the Mercury retrograde videos. So Mercury retrograde, puts a dampener on communication when it's retrograde. And Saturn in Aries, Saturn is restriction and limitation and challenges. So with this, in July 2026, we're not maybe able to see things as clearly as we probably could before. We are in review at this time. Maybe we're seeing things so subjectively, so emotionally, Mercury in Cancer, that we're not seeing things objectively. We're caught in the doldrums of it. We're caught in the negatives of it. We're caught in our own feelings that are coloring how we view it, that are coloring what it actually is, realistically. So we're making sure that words are said clearly and deliberately. That's a really, really big thing here. Is making sure that we're speaking clearly, that we are intentional about what we say, what comes out of our mouths, and everything like that. So speaking in this kind of fashion with these energies going on here is really, really important. Now we also have Jupiter square Pluto, exactly on July 20th, where we are large and in charge, and we're looking at where we shouldn't be. It looks at where's an overdoing of power, where all of there's too much taboo, situations going on. There's too much overpower dynamics, where that power is destructive and abusive, and yeah. So that's kind of my thought on that. I'll be discussing that aspect more in depth in a separate set of videos. But there could be new insights when it comes to new conversations. With Uranus trine Pluto, ideas and interactions that you have with others, where you see things more clearly. You see things with greater clarity, and the acceleration of how you perceive these things and these endeavors in your life, these areas of your life, was accelerated, they're sped up. So Pluto in Aquarius looks at the shadow of technology and social structure. That's what we need to remember with Pluto in Aquarius. And transforming that. Transforming the social structures and technology and all that kind of thing with whatever it is doing, looking at AI and looking at where technology, and I say this heavily, I don't say this lightly, where it is stealing away our own sovereignty and power. Looking at how technology is becoming so powerful that it's just taking away our humanity. And every day, every week, every month, more AI gets more advanced. It just rips away and steals our humanity. And we need to get serious about this. We need to nip this in the bud before it gets too severe. We need to deal with this. We need to stand up, and we need to take care of all this AI, all this technology taking over, and we need to act, somebody has to stand up and actively do something that can really, really make a change. And I'm sure that there are people in the world right now who are actively making changes. We just really, really need to see that come through. We really, really need to see the changes manifest and be, these changes materialize. And the Mercury square Saturn is like, how practical is this? How realistic is this? Are we going to actually make this a reality? Are we going to actually make this, concrete and real and embodied? Saturn wants things to be real and tangible, and the 3D reality. So, so Pluto entered Aquarius March 23rd of 2023, left June 11th of 2023. It was there for those 3 months. And then it entered Aquarius again from January of 2024 to September 1st of 2024, and then it entered again in November of that same year, November 19th. It's going to stay all the way up until 2044, 2045. So, we have a long ways to go still, and we're already 2 years in. Oh, wow. I think that change is going to happen one time or another, and some truths are going to be coming out, and things need to be reevaluated and readjusted before too long. With the Earth, with climate change, all these hot button issues with technology, with AI, all these things, with the money, with the minimum wage, all these issues. Things need to be talked about, things need to be dealt with, so that maybe 10 years later, we could be living in a much more peaceful, beautiful, more stable world. I'm hoping that the 2030s is a calm, peaceful decade and not a unstable decade, because the 2020s, just starting with the pandemic, has just been, kind of a roller coaster this decade from 2020 all the way to 2030. It's just been crazy with all the stuff that's been happening in the world. COVID, the wars that have been happening, politically, things have gotten divided. All these kind of things like that. So, Yeah, so anyone with personal planets between 2 to 7 degrees of the air signs that are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius will be feeling this most. So these exact squares, or trines, will be the first one is July 2026, July 18th, 2026, November 29th of 2026, June 15th of 2027, January 13th, and May 9th of 2028. So we also have Jupiter sextile Uranus and opposite Pluto. The Jupiter sextile Uranus is going to really have us getting out and being more free, being more philosophically open, and thinking of new ideas and hopeful. It's going to give us a doorway of hope. It's going to really I think that aspect is going to be a way out of the woods. It's going to give us some hope here with that, with all that's going on. And Mars conjunct Uranus has been going on. July 4th was when it was exact, which is about sudden ideas. Sudden ideas. Deciding things very quickly. Where you're really sharing your voice, and the instability and the shakeups with that, where everything becomes more radical. Technology, can break down during the time, radical new ideas and all of the kinds of things with Mars conjunct Uranus. And, I'm just going to leave this final note here before I sign off. You have choices to make. And it's up to you to proactively make those choices. Can you get out before the going gets rough? Can you nip things in the bud in your own life? Can you make the changes before Uranus pulls out the rug from under you and makes sudden changes, like forces you into change, forces you to make the change and make the transformation? But it pulls out the rug from under you. Can you actually take action and be active upon making those changes occur in your own life? I mean, that's the question that you can ask yourself: is can you take action in regards to that, with those changes going on? Can you take action, make the changes happen, etc., etc. So, anyway, that is all that I want to say in this episode. Again, please understand that if I ever go away, I will not be completely gone from YouTube and from the internet, from the world, really. I will still be here. I'll still be making content on my Spotify. I'll still be posting everywhere else if I should disappear. And I just want you to know that I really value your time and attention watching this video. I really do, and I really value the moments that we have with, connections that we have through comments and through everything like that, even with a small following that I have right now. But I really value that, and I want you to know that, and I want you to know that I will probably, if need be, find a way around that, and I will build up a following on Spotify if I need to, and I hope that I don't go, but I'm going to try to do all I can to stay on here and not have the AI take away my channel. So I just want to leave it at that. Thank you so much for your support. It truly means a lot. And if you could subscribe to my channel, if you could like this video, you could do all the things, hype it, do whatever, I'd really greatly appreciate that also. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in the next episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast. And bye for now, everyone.